My voice is still clear, right, for you folks?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, in our last two conversations, we started off talking about these four noble truths from Buddha, right? So we covered the first two noble truths, and we wanted to start on the third and fourth noble truths discussion, continue rather, and that's where today we are supposed to start. But should we take another minute to just summarize any thoughts around the first two noble truths before jumping to the third one? Anyone would like to attempt?
Yeah, also we had we had said we will do some exercise, right?
Correct.
Something, some activity. If anyone wants to share, we would like to hear.
Yeah, so as we had discussed, although not daily, so in different times of day, I tried, keeping myself still, which I already had some practice, as we had discussed, as we had expected. So the mind wanders into uh, whatever strong feelings you had earlier, uh, according to the disturbances. So bringing it back to uh, focus, that keeps happening. Uh, so with practice only it can come. Some things like this, no. It is not like today's fast moving society where you can get everything very faster. Certain things come only by practice. It's like you won't be able to participate in Commonwealth next year. So if you have practiced from your childhood, maybe you can attempt like that. Yeah, it is a difficult process, and it is not impossible. Definitely, it is possible. Definitely, we can uh, mark our everyday progress, and we can see improvements. Small baby steps, you can see improvements. So the difficult part is to keep emotions aside whenever a thought is coming up while you are keeping yourself still. Yeah. So this is what I felt.
See, Yogi, see that's the thing. Here we are not, we are doing nothing. Okay, when our idea is to do nothing, what it means is you don't have to keep anything aside. Also, see what the intention of this whole exercise is not to do something or not to go somewhere. Only thing is we need to get an understanding of what reality is, what truth is. That understanding, it comes by itself. It's not about even understanding that. It's about understanding coming to you, or you experiencing the understanding. So when emotion comes, when thought comes, what we generally do is, this concept of I is a tricky thing. Suppose I am a smoker and a thought of smoking comes. Then another thought of not smoking comes. Okay, I've decided to quit. Let me quit. Now, among these two thoughts, a thought of smoking and thought of avoiding smoking, what we do is we identify one as me, okay, one as something else, okay, one as a habit. For example, the thought of smoking, we put it to habit. The thought of quitting smoking, we put it to ourselves, okay, and we strengthen the ego through that. So what we the whole idea is, when thought comes, it is coming, okay, there is another thought which comes. I don't want this thought. That thought also comes. So we should not identify the second one as me. Rather, we just be still in the sense it may not be physically still. We may not sit in a position where we don't even shake a bit. That's not the idea. the, the whole idea is non-doing. let it be relaxed, let the body move if it goes through pain, let the mind come. So what the understanding we can get out of this is, there are a lot of things, lot of things. Everything happens by itself, by its own nature. Okay, then where is that I? Which is that I which controls? Whatever thought comes, that's also another thought. So the whole idea, again, when we continue this exercise, uh, going forward, the idea is not to keep anything aside. The idea is not to control anything. The idea is to just be, so that whatever understanding comes through that experience, let it come. But there should be zero effort to do it or not do anything. That's the idea.
Okay, yeah. So somewhat very similar, but I may not be able to put it in right terminology.
Oh,
Uh,
great. So I'm just clarifying it so that, see, this is what the thing what I started also, right? See, when the whole idea, when we sit, we think, okay, let me not think anything. If thought comes, I take it as negative, saying that, oh, I'm thinking too much. Let me not think, or let me control it. And what we immediately do is, we go into a process of controlling, or a technique of controlling. Suddenly we remember something. Somebody has said, some technique will help me control this, and we get into the technique. Here, there should not be any technique. There should not be any technique to do anything. The whole idea is, I will not do anything. Whoever I think I am, or whatever is the functionality of that I will stop it for some time. Okay, that is the initial understanding, initial thought with which we sit. After that, whatever happens is happening. I'm not here to hear anything or see anything or do anything or think anything. But I hear, I see, I smell, I taste, I touch, I think in a sense thought comes. So we with this understanding, we go to the next truths, next noble truths. We can go into the discussion of that.
So, so Ravi,
Hmm.
just one additional clarification
Yeah.
point from my side,
Hmm.
based on what you said.
Hmm.
So the way I was hearing what you said is that, as we discussed in the last two truths, this first truth is all about this entire nature is imperfect.
Correct.
Second truth was that the cause for this imperfection is that we are going from one state of imperfection to the other state of imperfection,
Correct.
right? Continuously. So,
Correct.
and the way we are doing that is either through our craving or through our aversion, with
Exactly.
every moment,
Correct.
across all the six sense doors,
Correct.
that is five bodily things
Correct.
and mind. So what
Correct.
you are saying is, in this exercise, when we are sitting, we are
Hmm.
basically going with this thought of no craving, no aversion in every moment. Just be
Correct.
and see whatever is happening.
Correct. Correct.
Good.
Correct.
So that's, primarily that's what we should do. But I think what we will, at least in my practice, I notice is
Hmm.
uh, this rising of
Hmm.
some of these craving thoughts, or rising
Hmm.
of some of these aversion thoughts.
Hmm.
It becomes visible. That reaction tends to keep coming up
Hmm.
as we sit. But I think obviously to reach that state, we just need to keep practicing, is what I too believe. But
No,
definitely I think.
again, sorry to interrupt. See, the
Yes.
word practice is little tricky. Okay, in the sense,
What is
see,
this?
the whole idea is not to practice it. See, they the see why if you hear a lot of Jiddu Krishnamurti talks, he says there is nothing, no technique, because the word technique and then practice, all those things will have an innate understanding of I behind it. Okay, in the sense, in existence of I, there, which means that there is a person who practices it, right? If you say I will practice, Means beyond all these things which is happening, there is one thing which practices, which now tries to practice. Again, it is strengthening of uh, the same thought process.
Sure.
Okay. So see, if you look at how mind is divided, they say manasu, buddhi, ahankara. Okay. That combination is mind or chitta, whatever word it is. I don't know that word exactly. So which means to say there is one entity in us, that whatever that mental entity which has mind, which where the thoughts keep coming. Another is intelligence, which what do you say, takes a rational decision, right? Which evaluates something and takes it. And the third one is ego. So it's part of one only. Based on the functionality, we have divided into three. So that the way mind comes, even ahankara comes by itself in the process. That I comes by itself constantly, right? I am seeing, I am sitting, all those things. The whole idea is to leave it at that level. In a sense, this I is some sense of I is coming and going. But what we believe slowly because of the way life is, or the way existence wants us because of our survival, is something that there is one I exist in somewhere entity which controls all these things. Okay, that's why
Sitting very
I'm just
strongly.
it's so strongly. So even the word practice, or we will do something, we will achieve something, only strengthening that. Okay,
Fair.
so instead, I know that's how we start, but just to have a continuous understanding, let's keep refining that terminology also, so
Fair.
that we don't misunderstand anywhere. That's the whole idea.
Fair. I think that is where I think this third and fourth truth can give us a bit
Ah,
more
Yeah.
support.
exactly. Huh?
So that no, I think this also strengthens. So thanks, I think, to reconfirm this, because I was also to some extent thought it is a practice for us to reach that state of vacuumness in your mind. Uh,
Ah,
okay, but then again, it is not possible beyond maybe very few
ah,
minutes. Okay.
because
Yeah.
that doesn't exist.
Mm.
See, it doesn't exist means I'm not telling the silence doesn't exist. The
Vacuum.
silence exists. That empty mind exists, but it cannot be achieved
Mm.
by the
Yeah, it has to be
sense of
realized.
I.
Yeah.
Okay, because the one which who is trying to achieve that itself is the disturbance.
Mm. Yeah.
The I is the main disturbance. Okay, so if I want to achieve something, then that strengthened I itself is a disturbance to achieve it.
Mm.
And when we achieve something, there is no I there. So that's why, as I exist, life is only suffering, nothing else.
Mm.
Because as long as I exist, it is suffering. When I don't exist, there is nothing to experience. There's no need for anything to experience. That's a paradox.
Mm.
Okay, anyways, we will continue that. So, let's
Mm.
stick to the. Because see, I gave this explanation because practice should not be done in wrong understanding. And practice should not be done. The whole idea is not to practice, not to do anything for some time to start with, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay, so that anything that happens in that 10 minutes, you are not there. Neither you are hearing, nor you are smelling, nor you are seeing, nor you are thinking, but something is happening. That's exactly how things happen always. Only thing is, since I decided to do something, I take the ownership of it. Now, in spite of me deciding not to do anything, if all these are happening, that's how it's happening forever. Okay, that understanding we should get. I don't know when we get or when it happens, but that's the only goal of meditation: not to get silence, not to achieve any power, not to achieve any say experiences, especially as far as this technique goes. Okay, again, I use the word technique, but whatever, that lack of word, this approach goes. Okay, and we can, any thoughts from anyone?
Yeah, so I would like to basically put one or two sentences here.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, this kind of life has kind of slowed down. One. Second, a lot of these childhood memories have triggered or are triggering.
Hmm.
Very like 5 year, 4 year. I mean, you don't even remember. But now suddenly out of nowhere, suddenly something pops up.
Correct.
So I think that my deep this IMEM and DMEM, right? That cache is being accessed now.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then I think that focus. See, you said right, things happen. That is right, but there is some focus. That needle, right? That there is a spotlight. It is rearing to basically be put somewhere.
Focus means you are trying to focus on something.
No, there is something, right? When you sit quiet, right?
Hmm.
Who is sitting quiet? First question is somebody is sitting quietly.
No. So let's see that discussion. See, that's a little tricky discussion. Okay.
Yeah.
See, you have sat. You are not. There is some. There is a mind which intellectual mind decided that next 10 minutes I will not do anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we are in that state. We are in that I state. That 10 minutes you are not doing anything. You are not even focusing.
Yeah.
You a doer, I'm telling. Okay.
Yeah.
See, when I say word I, what trigger that word I, strong I is doership. Okay. That's why we are so proud or we are guilt of something
Yeah.
constantly. Because I believe that I did it. What, for example, if I'm lean, I believe that I I ate good food and then I exercise. Or if I'm something,
My
if I'm unhealthy, I
metabolism
have
good.
guilt on that.
My
Okay.
metabolism good. Yeah.
So you continue. So I just interrupted in between. Since you said
Uh,
focus, as a process, we are not going to focus anywhere.
yeah.
Okay.
Finally, even if you're not focusing anywhere, right? Finally, there is one point of focus which you cannot get away from. That is essentially you are a breathing machine,
Correct.
right? See,
Hmm.
something air goes in, air comes out. At least
Correct.
finally, what happens is you keep on watching that.
No, you are not watching.
Something is happening. So basically,
Something is
there is
happening. Correct.
some action is happening there, and you are
By
part of that.
itself.
Yeah,
Hmm.
right. So it's like by itself when you say right, it's like a server. Somebody has triggered the server till this
Exactly.
server is switched on, right? Switched off.
Correct.
It will go on and on and on. All you can do is add and remove these RAID memory configurations.
Hmm.
But the server will go on. So that is what I said by becoming a breathing machine.
Okay.
The focusing, the spotlight or the focus is on just breathing. So you wonder, okay, oh, there are so many aspects to breathing. Basic some thought triggers there, but right now it is at that state.
Correct.
Yeah, and
Correct.
interestingly, after this and this breathing part, right, it slows you down.
Hmm.
In a way, it is very happy. I mean, happy state.
Hmm.
Yeah, you feel good. Basically, you feel happy. I mean, I don't know if I can call happy. You feel good about it. That
Yeah.
you realize you are breathing.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
let it be.
that
See,
itself is
the thing is, the whole again. Why I'm just somehow see. Even when we went to Goenka or many Vipassana centers, they
Hmm.
also tell us to focus on breath to start with. Whatever my this is very personal. Nobody has. I have not read anywhere. Somehow after reading all these things, my conclusion is in the sequence of Vipassana, they start with breath.
Yeah,
Okay, it doesn't mean you have to do first step breathing, watching breath as a first step,
yeah,
because again you come into picture there. If somebody tells me saying that watch breath, then when the focus goes out of breath, either I feel I am not good enough or I am not focusing enough, where I have brought the concept of I apart from what is there, then again I will feel let me focus now. Okay, and then that I comes into picture. Means I become a doer there again. Even in meditation, with where the idea is to get rid of I, get rid of concept of I bring I because there is something to do. Okay, some specific step to do, which needs to be avoided. Rather, if if because of the sitting or non-doing state, if the focus slowly comes on breath, so be it. Okay,
Yeah,
if it is
exactly.
on if it is on thought, so be it.
Yeah. So basically, this is like uh, watching the breath versus breath watching. It is a by default.
Actually, Ravi, what I feel is maybe
Ah,
when we discuss all the truths,
hmm,
at the end, maybe we may be able to come to the understanding that you're saying now.
hmm,
But for the 1 and 2 that we have discussed,
hmm.
I think we are adding much more than what we discussed.
Correct. You because I just I see whatever next truths are coming, whatever for example, right understanding is one of them. We'll talk about this. So I gave an example. I gave that thought or explanation with this itself. We can discuss. We can discuss further also.
Huh. So,
Yeah.
so as we continue to go forward,
Yeah.
just one quick couple of thoughts. Rajiv, namaskara.
Hi, Rajiv.
Namaskara, sir. Hi.
So as you joined, we just did a quick recap of the first two truths. And to add to what Ravi just now said, Ravi, I think at least if we really look at these first two truths, it is like telling, at least that is what I feel. I mean, all of us drive cars, right? So all of us have been driving cars for many years. So now when we are driving on the road, we run on an autopilot in terms of actual driving. So taking left, taking right, blah, 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 blah. All that we do pretty much without even really consciously, but we are doing it incessantly when we are driving.
Correct.
So I think our life is also something that we have experienced that way. That is,
Correct.
we go from craving to aversion to craving, whatever, blah, 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 across continuously, incessantly. So we are so used to it.
Correct.
So no, I think the Vipassana technique, the way you explained, I was just thinking it is making us to unlearn these things. That is, go in a reverse direction. So one has been driving his life in an autopilot mode, jumping again and again and again. So the idea is to slow down a bit. So when we are learning driving, initially we used to watch everything closely, right? And something like that we tend to do with this focusing on breath. But ultimately, it is to even realize that driving is futile exercise, whatever we think we are driving. So, and realize that it is happening on its own. So it is like going in a reverse direction, unlearning the driving skill. That is what I think your exercise also is telling us. When you say do nothing, it is to stop driving. But to go there, we are so used to driving incessantly, we are realizing that we are driving incessantly when we are sitting, probably.
Yeah. No, I think maybe what you say is that from unconscious competence
Correct.
to
Correct.
conscious incompetent state. That okay, we realize that okay, there is something to pick up.
Correct.
So
So I
otherwise,
think that is
our
where.
okay. Good.
Sorry. Please go ahead.
No, sorry. No. I to some extent, the moment you said the driving, so this is also what was my thought actually. When maybe in the bus, maybe while along with yoga, when you get into meditation, you make an attempt, but when you can't stop, so let it flow. I mean, so that was also my, I gave up and then say, I mean, I think this is going to be a very ideal state actually, which perhaps I can't achieve beyond 1 or 2 minutes, but let it happen. So that was also my take. Yeah.
But we need to keep doing what Ravi said. That is,
Yeah.
keep attempting. And I don't know. I mean, probably for some people, it may happen next moment. For some people, it may need a little bit of practice, which Ravi doesn't like the word practice. But I think all of us, as long as we keep reminding this thought that
Yeah.
we are driving, we need to stop. I think ultimately we realize at point of there is nothing to really stop. But then, yeah, let's see what the other two truths also help us understand with respect to that.
True. I also
Yes.
believe.
Yeah, yeah. We can move further, Manju.
So then the third truth, first two truths made life, whatever existence, so miserable for us, right? Saying there is suffering and there is a cause for suffering. But the third and fourth truth make it from pessimistic to optimistic totally. At least that is how I understand. The third truth says this suffering or this imperfection can be stopped in terms of this experience, and it is eradication of there is a state of complete non-suffering state that can be reached. And the fourth truth gives you the path to achieving this in a very clear step-by-step way. At least that is how I understand. We can go with one at a time. And my understanding of third truth also is this is something what all of us are trying to do as the ultimate goal of our spirituality. That is nirvana or liberation or whatever we say, that state. That is what this no suffering state, whatever Ravi is saying. I think that is the third truth. I think, Ravi, your thought,
Yeah.
addition.
No, 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 no. I think, see, third truth just says it is cessation of that is possible. Okay.
Right.
That's what it says, right? Literally, it says that only, right? Nothing, it doesn't give any other explanation
Correct.
to it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's all, Manju. Whatever you said is it. Yeah.
And the fourth truth is where it gives kind of a step-by-step step-by-step approach or technique or practice, whatever you want to call it as, for achieving this state. And it is called as this noble eightfold path.
Eightfold path, yeah. I mean, why is it called only four? If the fourth one is creating a link to another 8 paths, so then it is 8 plus 3, 11 truths, right? Or maybe.
Fair question there, Pati. I think my way of looking at it is Buddha was a super scientist, or Buddha was a scientist who believed in detailed explanation, a step-by-step approach to what he was experiencing, and he wanted others also to experience. So he behaved like a doctor. And there is also an analogy given in some of the books that I read, including from Goenka, that Buddha took the analogy of a medicinal doctor. When what does doctor do? He basically, when a patient comes, he looks at there is a disease, that is truth one, and then he looks at what is the cause for the disease, truth two, and then he looks at can this disease be eliminated or this disease be overcome. So that becomes the third truth. And to help the patient overcome this disease, he needs to give some prescription saying, take this medicine, take that, take this, do that, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. Few steps that need to be followed by the patient to overcome or come out of this disease. So, which is a similar analogy used by Buddha with respect to the Four Noble Truths. The fourth noble truth is where the prescription comes of how you can come out of your disease, which is suffering. So, and this is where in that prescription he has put in 8 things to do, kind of. So as the noble eightfold path. So, and the beauty of this is, of this eightfold path, is the 8 things that Buddha mentions. Most of it was existing even before Buddha. If you go to our Vedas or whatever, Upanishads or whatever, we will find a good chunk of this even before Buddha. And Buddha, that is why he categorically said also that I just discovered this. I'm just stating it in a very step-by-step way so that you can experience it rather than understand it intellectually. So this eightfold path is where I think, okay. So Ravi, do you want to call out this eightfold path from your viewpoint, or shall I just quickly summarize from my viewpoint?
You please do it, Manju. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this fourth truth or the path to achieving nirvana or liberation, this eightfold path has, I think this Shila, Samadhi, Panya has the three broad categories. So Shila is the way to live our day-to-day life, or practice our day-to-day life. And then Samadhi is the way we use this foundation of Shila to go towards this state of non-being, or this state of no suffering. And Panya is nothing but the understanding of it in an experiential way, or a wisdom, so to speak. So this 8 things, what is listed under the eightfold path, they are Samma Ditti, Samma Sankapo. At least these are all the Pali terms that are used, blah, blah, blah. But let me put it in the English way. Right? Understanding is the one of the 8 things. And the other things follow something like right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right what is that? Right effort, and right awareness, and right concentration, or samadhi. So those are some 8 things that is called out. So if you really see this, a bunch of this, that is right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood. These are all how to live every moment of our life when we are doing whatever we are engaged in. And then the remaining ones, that is right effort, right awareness, right concentration, they tend to be part of the meditation technique, so to speak, where we are attempting to stop from running in the circle. And right understanding finally is all about experiencing that stopping of doing, and realizing this whole state of nirvana. I feel, at least that is the broad understanding. So Ravi, you would like to add further?
No, no, no. It's. I mean, you are explaining it well. We'll add as we go. Yeah.
Huh.
But I see choice everywhere. The moment you tell right, there is a choice. So it is like speed versus acceleration, right? There is a direction. It's scalar versus vector.
Correct. That is why I even said this earlier also, right? This driving example that I took. See, we have built a habit pattern over many lives, most likely all of us, where we are running continuously. When I say running, every moment we are going behind one craving or another aversion, or craving or aversion incessantly. We have not stopped. We keep running, we keep running, we keep running. And you can say, apply the brake, stop it. But as Yogi said, or as Pati said, as I said, as probably all of us have experienced neuron meditation practices, that stopping doesn't happen across all the 6 sense stores that we have got. It keeps running. At least we are so used to running, we are unable to stop. So, and how do you stop it? You have to stop it slowly. This is where Buddha also took 6 years. That is Gautama, the Buddha. He also took 6 years to reach the state of stop. Right? So then the idea was, he wanted all of us to reach that state, and he knew that he can't help anyone. That is why he said, you need to do this for yourself. I can't help. Nobody can help. Because you have built the habit, you have to break the habit. And this is where he gave this eightfold path, saying, go with these this clear understanding of that you are running incessantly. Then look at the way you are thinking, look at the way you are speaking, look at the way you are acting. So at least in this call itself, we notice, no, the way we have been speaking. So it is so hard to break that pattern that we would have realized in the last 30 minutes after when we have been talking in this call. So, and then comes, how do you apply it every moment of your life? That is where he says right livelihood. And there are very specific ways in which he has explained also. Nothing is left for imagination, at least in the way these suttas are documented by him in his explanations. He clearly calls out what does each of these mean, at least to a large extent. So let me pause. Any additional comments or questions? So did I scare everybody so much?
No, I think so somewhere now I am able to, I mean, at least relate things in a perspective. So because so the third one, is where so you need to start uh, removing things that would create pain, right? In simple
Correct.
words. Yeah. So
Yeah.
removing. Yeah. So that then the fourth one is to reach salvation. So you need to do everything right. Okay. So it could be in terms of your thoughts, then speech, then understanding. So I think maybe that's you said the other way. Understanding first, then yeah. So speech, thought, yeah, and then efforts, right efforts, and yeah. Okay, so I think this will take a little while to once again,
Correct.
yeah, settle in actually, but at least it looks now more convincing that okay, yeah. So when everything becomes right, then again, pain or no pain, still there is that realization that you are in the right path, yeah, and maybe this is where you need to relate back to the old one, thoughts and other things. As long as everything is right, then it could be still fine, right? What Ravi said. I mean, don't try to arrest thoughts. Maybe as long as they are in the right direction, so maybe that is also something that would lead to salvation. Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, Buddha, the way the suttas are documented, my understanding is he was probably the first best systems thinker that we ever saw. See, all of us are used to the systems thinking concept, right? So where we look at things in a broad way and also in a deeper way. So he was the first guy to probably document this whole life existence in such a nice systems thinking way through his teachings. So broadly,
To whom
the
is he
first two
giving
truths.
this?
Framework.
Sorry, Rajiv.
Sorry, I just broke your flow. Sorry, I thought you paused.
I was just trying to conclude by saying one last thing, which is first two truths, problem statement, second two truths, solution to this problem. That's how I see this truth. Yeah, now, Rajiv, go ahead.
Yeah. So I also tend to agree. Actually, if you put it in a perspective, so it looks like problem statement and solution statements. Yeah.
See, the way you are explaining, it is sounding like OKR or strategy map.
Yeah.
It is so, it is so obvious. You are a management practitioner. The way you explain now.
Okay, I am still thinking whether you are complimenting me or you are not.
Pati,
I will
Pati,
keep that aside for now.
yeah, the way Pati explained earlier, right? So you explained that it is just like strategy map flow only.
At least that is how I see as well, Sandeep, to be honest. That is, I feel this whole agile concept, the reason why I tend to got attached so much or tend to like so much is it is very similar to the journey one undertakes to reach this whole life and existence realization. So maybe because of that, the way I put it sounded pretty much like that for you. But anyways, I think Rajiv also had a point or a question probably.
Yeah, see, when I look at this, not only the noble truths of Buddha, what starting from suffering, And then the concept of I, or the attachment to I being the cause for suffering. And then the prescription comes in and saying that these are the some of the things which could probably end the suffering. I always see a contradiction in this, simply because for whom the solution is for, right? The solution cannot be for me, because I don't do it. I don't bring upon the suffering for myself, and therefore I cannot solve that suffering also. Because if I can solve the problem, then I don't bring in suffering in the first place at all. So I always wonder for whom this solution is for.
Okay.
No, okay.
Can I
Maybe it is,
answer?
yeah, go ahead, Ravi, so please.
No, you put your point.
No,
Then.
maybe we all assume that, okay, so there is, there is, maybe we all think that, okay, there is no problem. Yeah. So maybe the recognition, maybe that lack of recognition is also could be a problem. Yeah. Okay.
No,
No,
if you think that there is, if you think that there is a problem and I
yeah,
have a problem,
yeah.
then whatever you're saying makes sense. I have a problem, then I have to solve it. That's how the world goes in now. The world now goes in the way that I have a problem, and therefore I have to solve it. And we have been doing it for ages together. We have been doing it. But my premise is that I do not have any control on the problem that I have, which means the notion of I itself to me is minuscule or probably not existent. And therefore, I do not control the suffering that I'm going through. Now, when I do not control the suffering, do you think that I can solve the suffering?
Okay. Let me answer it.
It is not solving the
See,
problem. I think nobody is telling to solve the problem. If you are in problem, don't be in that problem. You don't have to solve the problem of the world. The world has been running like this forever. You don't be part of it.
Then what is the quest of? Then what is the quest for philosophy? Then there's no quest for all these things. Why are you even discussing this? And if I don't want to solve it, I don't want to practice it. What is the quest?
You don't have to solve that problem of the world. You are solving. You are trying to get away from this.
That's an effort again. Right? Can you think you can get away from that?
Yeah, effort is always there. Just now we discussed, right? It's almost like a OKR or strategy map, right? That means it's a long roadmap. Maybe Ravi can.
yeah. See, my thought is this. Again, when I say I don't exist, what it means is it doesn't mean nothing exists. No, that's not what it means. There is body that exists. There is mind that exists. There is some sensations that exist. Emotions exist. All these connections exist. Okay. There is nothing called I entity exist apart from these things. That's what when that's not the meaning when I say I don't exist. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two is what was found out was it's more like a program which is running. You can take existence as a software program, and it is somehow I started believing nowadays it's like a program where we have right given when then state. Exactly, it works like that. Where given some state of the system, when some trigger happens, something happens to it. Okay, it will go to the different state. Okay, now mind is in some state as of now. For example, given mind believes that we have to succeed in life, become famous, all those things. When I see an advertisement of a training, then I join the training. Okay, this is exactly how everything is working. We are in some state because of whatever reason. Okay, so people keep on triggering us. Okay, triggering us to study, triggering us to buy cars, triggering us to buy homes, all those things. And when that trigger comes, automatically then state is fixed, because given state is fixed. When state is what trigger is, then whatever is when the trigger happens, it will go to the other state by program. It's already programmed. Okay. So now what triggers we need to be given to that state is very important. Now that there is no one person in the existence that gives trigger, but this trigger happens to the environment. Okay. So one of the trigger is, say, negative triggers. What we have seen is all this fooling us by saying that you buy this, you consume this, you will be happier, and all those things. That is the trap we are in. Now, when a new trigger like this comes, for example, Buddha or any realized person's words are the words of this, the mind automatically turns because of the nature of the mind. So if I can see this is my understanding. Okay, I've not seen any scripture or anything explaining this, but my understanding is, see, when Buddha realized something, he realized that there is a program exists. When a trigger is given to this program, this state keeps changing. Okay, this is the realization. What is that trigger? Trigger is all these practices. Okay, so-called practices, because there is nothing to no one to practice. But since our mind is strongly attached to ego, when I strongly believe that I exist, then somebody tells me you do this. Because that is the trigger point. When state is some action happens by its own nature, and that takes us to a better state. What is that better state? Is eightfold path. See, eightfold path is not something I start doing it. When the water is flowing, see, I what I strongly believe, if you ask me, one concept is our life is like a river.
Ravi,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt.
Add. Please.
One question.
Hmm.
The trigger, when the person like Buddha or some other realized person comes over
Hmm.
and gives the start, you said there will be a trigger which for the mind. Now,
Correct.
is there any involvement of I in the trigger or not?
See, the current state is I.
Correct.
Okay, we are already in the state of I, because of which the trigger leads to specific actions because of that belief of I.
Is it automatic or is there intervention of I?
There is actually no intervention of I,
That's
because
all I wanted. Because see, I'll make a point here. Just stop here.
Yeah.
Just look at the universe. Okay, just look at the universe. Now we all know this universe is moving at immense speed. Correct. The speed is unimaginable.
Correct.
We are a part of that, a very small part of that. Now, if you go to Wonderla and you sit in that, what is that spinning wheel? There itself we lose a mind. We don't have any control. We can't say we will dance, we will sing. Now, that speed of universe is moving. Do you think we will have any control to turn things around?
No. Exactly. Correct. See, the whole idea is we don't have any control over anything. Okay. But whatever trigger that is coming will lead. The trigger is also universal triggers. It is not a personal triggers. What I believe is we are like, say, river. Okay. River takes birth somewhere. It goes and joins the ocean. Okay. This is the process. Actually, river is not flow. See, we use the word river is flowing, right? When we say river is flowing, it is a subject, verb, all those things. So river exists. There is somebody who is flowing. That's the kind of language we use. But it is flowing by itself, in the sense it's part of the existence. It is flowing. Like that, we are all flowing somewhere. We are somewhere. We don't know where we are actually. Okay. We can't change the direction. And all these experiences are in the direction in which it's already flowing. Today we are in some state of flow where we are talking this. and tomorrow we will go into some state, or we were some state of flow where we were goal was to buy something. Okay, did we shift some time consciously saying that, okay, let me move from this to this state? I don't think so. My feeling is something got hit to our life, okay, so badly or so painfully, which shifted our directions. Those are all triggers. It's are all natural triggers which will hit us, and that makes us. It's like a stone which came. We were flowing, so we change the direction. It is not that we consciously took a decision to change anything, but because of the ignorant mind, we will take that ownership on us. We will take the ownership of the things which has happened because of that have whatever that ego that exists in the mind, which is also part of the flow. Now we say we did this, I did this practice, I went here. Something we will own on ourselves. At least going there was my decision. We, see, having multiple paths is truth, but choosing a path is not the truth. Okay, it goes by its own habit, its own say current state. If two minds exposed to the same trigger, the response is not same because the given state is different. See, when we say given when then, given state of each mind is different. So even if the when is same, then may not be true same. Okay. At the same time, for any one mind, when the trigger changes, the then part also changes. So the current state plus the trigger decides the next state. Okay. So now we are in a state where we are talking all this. It doesn't mean I put some effort and came here, even though my mind continuously says it, and somehow that we get fooled into that thing. Let's believe, okay, for a moment, okay, let's assume that, okay, we did it. Now the question what we ask to ourselves is what else to do to go further. Since we are all in that state, people like Buddha or somebody said, okay, you are in that state, you are thinking that you exist, you are thinking that you can do something. Let me tell you what to do. Okay, because that's a trigger. Since that ego mind exists, it automatically transforms into those actions. Okay, wherever the given part is conducive to that. Wherever given part is not conducive, we will not do it. Okay, or it doesn't happen. So this is a long answer to your question, Rajiv. You said, whom did Buddha tell? Means he told this to set of minds with different understandings at that point in time. Okay, that point in time in sense, not that given state. There are many given states. So he give that pass this message. So that is a trigger is same based on where people are. They understood. Some people understood it. Some people rejected it. Some people hated it. Based on that. So it's about their state. And people who understood it, obviously then state is follow that. Follow that is that understanding. And maybe they would have got realized. And people who did not understand or who did not follow that, but they took different path. We don't know what happened to them. Okay. So he did not tell to one person and saying that that person decides and act. So we should not again we should not fall into a trap of saying that we have control and we will do something. Okay. We can cut it off that in the beginning itself. Yeah. Any thoughts?
Yeah, Ravi. Actually, uh, I think we can do one of two things.
Hmm.
Either, I mean, is it absolutely necessary to have a set of beliefs like at any cost avoid the existence of I?
Hmm.
Okay, to go in this four-step practice,
Hmm.
or by practicing these four steps we reach there. Okay, or is it mandatory for these two things to happen together?
Ah,
Hmm?
yeah.
So, uh, if we insist that a set of beliefs needs is mandatory, is the primary thing before we start this four steps, or
Hmm.
what you can, what we are calling it as
Four
this,
noble
yeah,
truths. Yeah.
noble truths.
Hmm.
Practice in the four. If you say these set of beliefs like
Hmm.
uh, I don't exist needs to be understood even before I start with the practice, then obviously the conflict of belief systems come
Agree.
in
Agree.
picture.
Agree. So no need to answer. See, we can't get that understanding or belief right away. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. See, ahead, and whatever I read later, I'm sharing that here also. It need not be. Okay, you don't have to have any belief to do it. That's exactly why we started with the practice of doing non-doing. See, for non-doing, we don't have to have any belief. We just sit silent. That's all. And also, see, it's actually a wrong thing to say what you will experience. Okay, again, people start looking for it. Rather, we just need to say non-doing, and we sit or whatever it is in the state of non-doing, and the experiences what you gain will be your understanding. Okay, only thing is again, Analayo in Satipatthana book says truth is there. Okay, truth is everywhere. What to look for is also to be told. Okay, what to observe. Should we observe this or should we observe that? For example, I'm sitting silent, thoughts are coming, and anything to observe or anything to say emphasis on, or finally, how do I summarize that? If you look at it, we should, what it says is, we should not summarize saying that, okay, it's pain, thoughts are coming, okay, all those things also exist. What we should also observe in that is the impermanent state of it. Okay, arising and passing state of it. If somebody tells that, you yourself can get it later, but if somebody says that, the path will be easier. Okay, instead of long path, we will go to the the path will be little small, shorter. Okay, that's why it said, just to answer your question, you don't have to have that belief.
So, if I could just add one comment here, and also a time check. It's 7 minutes past 7:30 already. Probably we can continue in the next session also a little bit further on this. But just to add one thought from my side and one thought for you to consider as well. Okay? I think all of us live in this agile world or in this corporate world, right? We talk about this North Star strategy we have, and we have North Star, blah, blah, blah. And at least, Yogi, when I heard your question, the way I was thinking was, it was like the North Star of spiritual practice is to understand I don't exist. Either you can say, I am already there, I understand this, so there is nothing more to travel. So that means you already are done. Or you can say, this North Star of I don't exist in the spiritual practice, I am not there, and I need to reach that state. So which is where that Ravi's point of given when then, that given state, whatever current state we are in, to reach that state, we might have to do few things. And those few things is what this Noble Eightfold Path gives us. And probably we can take a little bit more closer look at each of these Noble Eightfold Path if you all folks are interested. What does whatever Buddha shared as part of each of these things, what does he meant by right thought? What does he meant by right action? What does he meant by right effort? All that we can take a closer look if you are interested. Otherwise, you can also do it offline. But at least I can share from my viewpoint what each of those are. And similarly, we can discuss. That is another thought. Okay, but bottom line,
But you can't.
North Star.
That analogy, Manju.
Yeah.
That analogy, Manju. I have a problem with that analogy. Okay. See,
See, that is the paradox, right?
Which analogy?
That is
Which
the paradox.
analogy?
that's not a paradox. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, the very quest in philosophy is that I do not know. Right now, to say with certainty that a North Star is I do not exist, then you know for sure I do not exist. Then what is the quest for?
That is the problem. Knowing is not anything, right? You have to experience
Then
it. That is where all these challenges come in.
How do you put that as a North Star then? You're already making a
I got it.
statement.
See, the paradox is that what Rajiv is saying, maybe when you say experience, okay, when you say experience, it is tied with existence. Then you can't say I don't exist.
No, I understood
Existence.
Rajiv's question. See, the North Star is not I do not exist. The North Star is the end of suffering, irrespective of paths. Okay.
Correct.
So leave
Because
the path.
I know that at least I experience suffering.
Correct. Exactly. North Star is experience suffering to non-suffering is the North Star.
Fair
Okay.
enough. That is
I do not exist, maybe path. Okay.
correct.
Okay. If you believe in that path, if you believe in Bhakti Yoga, maybe Krishna becomes the path. Whatever it is. Now we are discussing one path. Okay. Which is more towards non-existence of self. There is no self. And what it is, we'll discuss as we go on. Okay. So what Satipatthana says is, whenever they say Satipatthana, it says the direct path. Okay. The direct path, what explanation they give is, it's not a path where you go around and round and then reach, but it's a direct path to realization, is what Buddha finally claimed. So, we will discuss that maybe in the next few sessions.
Yeah. So I think that's a pretty good clarification as well. Thanks for that.
Manju,
And Rajiv, good question.
Manju, to answer to your question, this eightfold path, we will read and come, but we will still discuss is what I felt.
Yeah.
That would be really
we
good.
need to discuss,
Yeah, we'll revisit. Yes.
Yeah, in fact, I can share the material that Goenka has written. I will put that screenshot in the group, but I would suggest you folks to do a little bit of research.
Correct.
And then come back with your thoughts. That would be much more beneficial for us.
Yes. It will be involving also. Yeah.
And also, let's continue that non-doing for a few minutes. Okay, that's very important. That's what is the fastest path is what I believe.
Absolutely.
Okay. Not again. Don't focus on breath. Don't focus on thoughts. Don't focus or don't have an intention of stopping anything. Only thing is we don't do anything.
So therein lies the paradox, right? Doing nothing will take you faster.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the whole thing. That's why Jiddu kept on telling realization is instant. Instant is when that's the fastest path. Anyway, we'll discuss that further. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, guys.
Have a nice weekend.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
we'll
thank
talk
you,
again. Yeah,
Ravi.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend.